When I was diagnosed with schizophrenia, the doctor took my parents aside and said, "Bethany is permanently and totally disabled. She will not go back to school, she will not work, she will not live independently. This is in many ways the end of her life." My name is Bethany. I'm 42 years old and I live in the Cincinnati, Ohio area.
Bethany is extremely intelligent, kind, and she's our only daughter, our precious daughter, and we love her.
She loves academics, always did, even as a little girl. And then she grew to love music, and her dream was to go to college.
I started at the University of Southern California in 1999. I won a scholarship to attend. I was very happy.
Her grades were perfect, literally perfect. So when she went to school, we really had no concerns about those areas.
I remember I was taking a class in molecular genetics, and I thought that I aced the exam. It was so easy for me. And really, I had aced exams before, but I had actually failed it. I had essentially written gibberish for all the answers. Looking back, this was my first psychotic episode. I was having serious cognitive problems as well as social problems and problems concentrating. And a few months later, I just dropped out of USC.
I talked to other people who encouraged me to go, and went out there for days. I actually saw her walking just past me, and I called her name. And then she saw it was me, turned around and walked away, and I could do nothing. It was just devastating.
I believed that I was going to make a worldwide impact, which is a little bit ridiculous. And I had this paranoid thinking that somehow my parents would stop me from making this worldwide impact.
She cut us off entirely and had nothing to do with us. Until 5 years later, after a terrible journey, she became alone, entirely alone and homeless. She had become so ill that the community recognized she was in need of help. And she was taken involuntarily for psychiatric evaluation.
My voices in my head were incredibly powerful. And I remember if I didn't scream like they told me to scream or hit myself like they told me to hit myself, they'd just get louder and louder and louder, and sometimes I would feel pain.
Once we had her home and we were starting over, we were frustrated because the medicines weren't working. And when she finally, after like a year, got with physicians who were able to prescribe a medication that worked for her, you got her back. I mean, within a very short time, she was back at college.
There was always music in our home. It was typical to hear piano and violin duets. The music stopped. Schizophrenia had silenced it.
You can just start right there, yes?
Yeah, right into the key change?
Right there, yeah.
Okay.
When I play the violin, it just reminds me of my recovery, because I've noticed over the years that when I was sickest, I was least interested in violin. And when I'm well, I just delight in it.
Do you ever hear anyone do a big thing about the recovery of schizophrenia? No, but you do hear everyone that is so horribly ill that does a violent crime and everything like that. And the public thinks that mental illness is just something you can correct on your own.
I see stigma all the time. There's just a lot of misinformation. I met a young doctor at the church, and she was talking about how, people with schizophrenia never recover and they're usually totally disabled. And I thought to myself, you're a doctor, and it almost seems like you know very little about schizophrenia.
That's why she speaks for the med school. That's why she speaks to the law school, to the nursing school, and all of that. So since psychiatrists do not see recovered people with schizophrenia, their template for what schizophrenia is narrow also.
I wanted to share with people what had happened. Oh yeah, I had schizophrenia, but I'm all better now. And I applied to start the Cures Foundation. We have a checklist, everything that everyone should know on day one when they're diagnosed. That can include diet and exercise, cognitive behavioral therapy, cutting-edge medications, learning about schizophrenia. Ideally, one day we will have a drug that will improve cognition, and I really, really hope to see that during the course of my life.
Bethany and I both wrote books. They're companion books. The books are an intimate look at our journey as a family through severe illness and incredible recovery. And they are meant to touch other families and to give them hope.
My parents, because of their determination and their refusal to give up on my life, I was able to find a medication that brought me to full recovery. I was able to graduate from college. Today I am very busy working, and I owe that to them.